Hey everyone, so today I'm going to be doing a Taylor Swift at the VMAs look. It looks like this. I'm going to be doing one video about her hair and another about her makeup. It's a very classic style. The hair is kind of like 1930s, 1940s because it's got these big crimps and it's all secured up in a loose kind of bob at the back. And as you can see, she's got these bright red lips and dark eyes. So first off, I'm going to be starting off with the makeup and I hope you like this video. Okay, so this is how I've started off. All I've done is I've put a primer on underneath my foundation and then I've put a little bit of concealer just under my eyes, on the sides of my nose, on any blemishes that I have. And Taylor does go for a really natural look a lot of the time, and for the VMAs she went for a very natural look as well. Her skin was really light, not too much makeup on, and she just had a really daring red lip and dark eyes, which work really well together. So make sure that you keep the foundation and the concealer light, and if you're using a primer you only need a tiny bit and it will go a long way and it will hold the makeup for a long time, I'm sure. So what I'm going to do now is just zoom in and start off with my eyes. Oh, just get that right. Okay, so I'm going to be using my Too Faced eye palette today that looks like that. However, if you don't have the palette, it doesn't matter. There are a couple of colours that I'll be using. I'm going to stick to a really neutral and natural look like Taylor did for the VMAs, so you don't need a lot of colours. What I'm going to be using first, and if you can find these at home, it doesn't need to be out this palette like I said, just have a look around your house and see what you can find. So what I'm going to use first as a base, is this one. It's called Heaven. It's a really light white. And by the way, I've put a little bit of foundation on my eyelids and on my lips as well. Natural and light. You can barely see it. And I love Taylor's look because it's something completely different to what she's ever looked like. I think the makeup was done in a way which made her look a lot older compared to how she's previously looked, with really curly ringlets and really light makeup. This time she had a really soft eyeliner, a dark eye, and those gorgeous really dark red lips. So it made her look really classic, kind of from the 1930s or 1940s, especially with the hair, which I'll be doing in a moment as well. So then you want to cover the base like that, and then I'm going to use a really light brown, which is Velvet Revolver, but it is super light. And what I'm going to do is take my sponge tip again, and this time I'm going to go on the upper part of my eye, so kind of the crease of my eyelid, and this is creating a little bit of depth to the eye, but in a very natural way. You can already see that just creates a touch of depth to the eyes. Okay then, so what we're going to be doing next is taking our next colour, which is Push Up. It is this colour. It's a kind of bronzy colour. It's a very nice bronze though. It's not too glittery or anything, because Taylor didn't have a very glittery eye. And what we're going to be doing is we're going to be placing this on the outer half of our eyelid. Okay, and then we're going to add slightly more depth, so I'm going to take the colour Sexpresso, which is that colour. It is a really matte dark brown, and I'm going to be using my angled brush like that, popping a tiny bit on the crease of my eye, just to add to the depth. And blending with this, the sponge tip applicator. And then we're going to go underneath the eye. I'm going to start off with this colour again, Heaven, on the inner corner even. To Push Up, this colour again, in the middle third. And out into Sexpresso, which looks like that. And then we're going to blend. So I'll pop this on the outer corner. Don't worry if it looks a bit harsh. We will blend it. Then you take your sponge tip and blend inwards, blending all the colours together, but don't blend too much. Just a tiny bit colour slightly further out to create a slight V on the outer corner, because Taylor always has these really bold eyes going out into a V, and she did at the VMAs as well. Highlighter, which is Silk Teddy. It's just slightly pink and glittery. I'm going to pop my finger in because that's what I prefer to do. Only take about that much, and then dab it on just underneath my eyebrow, just to create a tiny bit of highlight, because Taylor always has highlight under her eyebrows, and she did when I was watching the video on the VMAs. I paused it just to have a look at how her makeup was set on her face. You just want to blend it in slightly to the colours below with your finger or your brush, it doesn't matter which. With this is place this on the outer third of my eye first, and remember to keep the look soft but quite thick at the same time. Okay, and then what do we do when we get to the outside? Well, for this look, Taylor didn't have a really sharp tick like she usually does in all of her videos and everything. She just had a kind of soft line that drags out and follows this line of eyeshadow. Something like that. So, very soft but quite thick at the same time. This is kind of how things should be looking so far, and then we're just going to take the black eyeliner and dab a tiny bit on the outer corner of the waterline. Okay, so now I'm going to go on to cheeks, and Taylor has contoured cheeks, but they always look really natural, and this is a really handy tip I've got for all of you watching, how to contour your cheeks without it looking too heavy. So I'm going to take my Benefit It's a 10, which looks like that, half bronzer on this side, half highlighter on the other. This is my brush, it's flat like that, and then what I'm going to do is dip it in this and place the bottom half, the darker half, along, how can I explain this, the bottom bronzer pigment is along the bottom side and the highlighter's on the top side of the brush. So now I'm going to just drag it along, and you can see how dark that is, and obviously it doesn't look very natural at the moment, but what we're going to do is I'm going to drag it kind of towards the outer corner of my eye like that, and then what I'm going to do is take a kabuki brush, which is a brush which has bristles really close together, looks like that, and this is going to blend the look. You can see how much it's blended already, and it just creates a slight contour and some slight definition for those of us who don't have cheekbones like myself. Okay, and then I'm going to take a really light pink blusher and a really soft brush that won't make the pigment look too heavy when it's placed on. So I just dab it in, and then I swirl it just above the bronzer and kind of directly onto the highlighter, and this blends the whole look and is something similar to what I think Taylor wears her makeup like. Lips, so I'm just going to zoom out, and I'm going to use a lip pencil like this. If you don't like using lip pencils, don't worry, you don't have to. It's just my preference on this one. I'm going to go all around the outside of my lip, which I have already popped a little bit of foundation on, so that's why it's so white. Mine isn't great, it's a bit messy. And then I'm going to take this lipstick. It is bright red, but it's in the light it looks really bright red, but it is slightly darker than a really like a red bus red. It's slightly darker than that, and this is the colour Taylor had. It wasn't too dark red, it popped in colour. So that is my Taylor Swift VMAs makeup tutorial. I hope you all liked it. I am going to be going on to do her hair at the VMAs next, because I think the whole look looks absolutely gorgeous. So I hope you like this, and I'll speak to you all soon.